Peace, and welcome into the latest and the greatest episode of Men of a Certain Age, The Soup. As always, I'm Fro. I got my man Panero with me, and I also got my man DL from the ATL. Peace to the gods, man. What's good?
Peace. What's good with y'all, boys? Ready? I'm glad to be back with y'all. You know what I mean? We got a nice free-flowing show today, so I'm excited to go ahead and get to it, man. As always, I don't complain. I had a great week. Interesting things that I found out that, hopefully we'll get a chance to discuss. But always glad to be here with my boys, especially on the last day of the NFL season. Ooh.
So I'm glad you set it off there, UH. I'm glad you set it off. Panero, man, here it is. The last week of the regular season as we go into sudden death next week. It's winner go home next week. So we're going to be super amped next Sunday because it'll be playoff Sunday. We actually will be already in because I believe now it's like Saturday, Sunday, Monday type jumping off in the playoff nowadays. So we'll have a little recap of whatever happened on Saturday, man. But Lord, what's good with you, man? How you feeling going into the playoffs next week?
Man, I'm loving it. It's nice to be comfortable as a Bills fan, to know that you don't really got to worry about the game today. You could just sit back and, you know what I'm saying, have your popcorn and chill. Josh probably played one series to keep the streak going, but that's about it. You could just relax and watch the game. But let me get a super shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals last night. I took the over. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying?
What was the over? What was the over?
Man, the over was 49, man. Them dudes ain't scored no points. I'm thinking Burrow going to just flick it all over the place on them boys, man. Come on, man. I lost my bread. Burrow owe me some bread. And Pittsburgh, everybody, y'all owe me some money, man. I'm gonna send my address out for y'all to send it to me, man.
So let me get this to y'all. Let me broach this question to the gods, man. So we are all Buffalo soldiers. You know what I mean? Even though we was babies and Pampers or just getting into stuff at this particular time, we are from where the originator, the Juice, put down the 2014 of them games, man. You know what I'm saying? Not 16, not 17, 14 of them joints. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Juice, man. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
We didn't get who passed away in 2024. Rest in peace, Juice. But how y'all feel, man? Coming to you on this one, UH. How you feel about Saquon only needing 100 to break Edie's record, man? How do you feel? How you feel about that situation? Do you think he should have tried to get that 100 yards on the team who let him go to this new team too?
Yeah, and he gave the Giants like what? 300 last time they played. I think he gave him like 300, like 297, some wild number. He gave him the last time they played. I think it was like 120 on the ground and 176. 120 in the air and 170 something on the ground. So he murdered the Giants last time. My thing is this. Unless he really wants to do it personally, or he has some type of financial benefit from breaking the record. You know what I mean? I can see where he's like tempered himself down and be like, yo, the team is more important. You know what I mean? Now, and you never know that he may never get this opportunity again to have, to be within reach of the record. But, as long as it's his decision and there's no financial ramifications for him not getting to that point, I really don't see a problem with it. I do have a problem with ED hating on him, though. ED is not appreciating it. Dickerson does not want him to get his joint, man. Dickerson does not like it. He giving him the 16 games and the 17 games. He giving him everything he possibly can. But, ED, I think that Jerry Curl probably got his brain a little bit fried. You know what I'm saying? He had that joint well into the 2000s.
So, Panero, what's your thoughts on it, man? How you feel about Saquon being just a buck? I can see he a buck, man, like a buck and some change, like a $103.
Buck 101.
You know what I mean? From breaking this record. What's your thoughts on it, Lord? What's your thoughts?
I can only think of it as what I would do if I was Saquon. You know what I mean? And coming from, us growing up watching football, us playing football, man, give me the pill, man. Let me hold that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially me growing up, not getting the pill, playing wideout. We talking about it before, growing up playing wideout up here, where all they do is run the ball, run. You know, man, give me that pill so I can get this $101. You know, but again, and going with Don said, if he doesn't really care, you know what I'm saying? And like you brought up before, bro, how many games would it be that he would breaking the record? How many is it? What, 16? And you know, OJ did it in 14.
Right.
He did
When
it
you
in
knew who was getting the ball. OJ did it. You know he was getting the ball. There wasn't nobody else getting it. So you can put everybody in the box and Killer Juice still gonna get them yards. You know what I'm saying? But again, if it was me, man, I'm in the backfield like, yo, I'm in the huddle like, yo, let me get this buck real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I can go sit down.
So let me just speed the heartbeat real quick, fellas. You got to look at it like this. You get Juice those 2 extra games that ED got, right?
Ooh, wee.
You give him those 2 extra games, he probably put up 225.
Easy.
That's what the record is. You know what I mean? You give 17 with Saquon, he 2,500. You know what I'm saying? You gotta say, man, originally that was what it would be. You know, obviously times change, things change. You think about how long that record stood until ED broke it. It was 73, right? When Juice went for 2003. It was 84 to when
Dickie broke it, right?
Broke it. You know what I'm saying? And then now it's like 45 years later. If for Saquon, you know, that to me, that's just like that's the difference in between the players of yesteryear and the players nowadays. Now I can see what y'all saying about, you know, the team. It's about what happens if he get nicked, you know, going for this 2000 to break the record, ED's record, right? I can see that rationale too, right? But at the same time, it ain't guaranteed that they go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It ain't guaranteed that they win next week.
Yeah, they get the Packers too.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's no guarantee in that. Now I can see this is, you know, my thought pattern. I can see if he was 220 away from the record.
But a buck and a buck 01?
Yeah, man. Come on. If you figure if we go out there and give him a half to get it, I would have respected that more. Some old Cam Ward type stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get no shots at to UH, but you know.
This guy right here, this guy is starting off early. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I like to see him, you know, hold that because it stood for that long with Dickerson. It could, you know, that record could never be broken again. You know what I mean? It could, but then again, it could not. But my thing is like, man, you that close.
Man, go ahead and take that.
Go for it.
Hit that, man. You know.
Hating ass ED.
Oh, Eric Dickerson, but we are also gonna give it up to ED.
Yeah.
Right? Like when P was talking about he was split wide out, every running back in America at that time was trying to look like Dickerson.
I'm at the wide out trying to look like Dickerson.
Yeah.
I don't even play running back. I'm trying to look like Dickerson.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody had the Dickie mask. You know, that was the mask, right?
ED.
Yo, that was the first time I ever used some Phillips screwdrivers, taking the mask off one helmet and putting it on another joint because it was a Dickie mask. Yo, I'm like, I need a Phillips for this, man. Come on, man.
Say word. But man, again, you know, we've been here from the beginning of the season. Now we at the end of the season, and now we push into the playoffs, man. As it sits right now, should the Broncos win, that's who the Bills will get. You know, if that's the scenario. If the Broncos win, that's who the Bills get. Should they lose, it could be the Dolphins.
Boom.
If the Dolphins lose, it'll be the Bengals.
I definitely don't want to see the Bengals.
Never. Don't want to see them boys.
I mean, listen, man, I don't subscribe to that. And the reason why I don't subscribe to that, man, I'm going to tell y'all, man, is because no matter who they play, they're going to play somebody good in the playoffs, man. It's the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's the
Playoffs.
The cream. Like what?
Playoffs.
Don't talk about playoffs. You know what I mean? It's the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? At this point in time, and for people to say, you know, oh, you don't want to see Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I'm like, man, come on, man. They're gonna have to beat who they line up against.
Listen, I feel better about us pounding on Bo Nix and or Tua than I would about us having to face Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow has got some, I don't know what it is with the Bengals, and I've been hating the Bengals since Chris Collinsworth. You know, remember they used to give it to us? Remember they used to give it to us when the Icky Shuffle was out and all that, man, and the Woods boys? Man, I can't stand the Bengals, y'all. And man, I don't want to see them, boy. I do not want them to cause any more consternation in my life. They almost killed my man, DeMar Hamlin. I'm not fucking with the Bengals, yo. They might be the team I hate the second most besides the Dolphins, yo. I might hate them more than I hate the Jets, actually. I might. The Jets and the Bengals is like a 1-2 with me, honestly. Real shit.
Yeah. I understand the rationale of being fearful or cautious if those dudes do come in, but man, they got to have them dudes, man. Yeah. If they're gonna go to where they trying to get to, they got to have them, man. And that's the attitude that the Bills got to have. That like, yo, don't matter who coming here. I don't care if the 77 Steelers coming through here. We got to have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the only way the mentality is gonna be. It's gonna be for them to get to the bowl. You know, the media are gonna do what they do, man.
Right.
Yeah.
They gonna hype up and talk. And no disrespect to Joe Burrow, what he's done this season. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, they are what 8-9-7 or whatever.
9-8.
So you know they ain't right 9-8. So they ain't unbeatable. They got 8 of those. You know what I'm saying? Clearly. But that's who it would be. That's who the Bills would line up against. Would be one of those 3 because they got the 2 seed. Right. Obviously, y'all say don't want the Bengals to get in. I agree with y'all. That would be the hardest one of those 3.
They hot right now.
3 out of 3 doctors agree on that one. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day,
it's gonna be whoever.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now.
Yeah, man. As we continue on this episode, Happy New Year again. Welcome in to the first Sunday of 2025. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, fellas, as we bounce around in this episode of The Soup, we all woke up. Well, at least I did. I woke up to, let me ask you, not to get too personal with you, how did you bring in the new year, UH?
I usually involve myself in the great Southern tradition of letting off firearms at midnight. That's what they do down south. I mean, it was like for the first 30 years of my life when I was in Buffalo, we didn't have that. You know what I mean? Down here,
go ahead and elaborate. Down
here, listen, all you hear all night is guns being busted. That's it. I'm telling you, man, it sounds like a war zone. I'm telling you, D, it sounds like a war zone. If you've never spent if everybody's got it. And the good thing, I guess it's twofold. It lets you know that you really don't want to break in nobody's house over here. You know what I mean? But then again, there's also the problem of people busting shots in the air. And you never know where that bullet is going to land at. So, this year, actually last year, East Point installed a shot spotter, which you guys know what that is?
No, elaborate.
Okay. A shot spotter is a piece of equipment that lets the law enforcement know how the proximity from that point to where a gun is being fired. Mm-hmm. So if you fire a gun, say for instance, around a corner, the shot spotter is going to give you the approximate location. Cops are going to come, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So literally, this shit is in my backyard.
Wow.
So I had to evaluate risk versus reward. And I'm like, usually, I really wouldn't care, but the East Point city commissioner probably police commissioner put up an Instagram saying that if they catch you busting shots, they're going to have triple patrols, yada, yada. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep it cool and bring my new year in nice and peaceful. And I just sat down and I just chilled out and prayed it in, and looking forward to 2025, man.
That's peace. So basically, what you did was you shot your gun in the air for the new year.
No, I didn't. I never shot mine in the air. I used to shoot in my garage. I got a shed in the back, so I just pop off at the shed in the back. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean. And that way, I don't have to worry about it. Landing someplace or hitting somebody's house or having a bad shot. You know what I mean? It's just a tradition. It's really unique to the Southern United States. I've been in New York for New Year's. I've been obviously to Buffalo for New Year's. I've been in Texas for New Year's, but it wasn't like this, man. This is wild.
It is definitely a Southern thing.
Mm-hmm.
You to get your hammer and start busting off. A quick little side note: how I got hip to the Southern tradition of shooting your gun in the air when the ball drops. You know what I'm saying? So at this particular time, like I said, this is less new to Nashville.
Right.
And I'm dealing with this female. I'm at this female's house on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say she didn't live in Brentwood, which is like the really good side of Nashville, and then she lived around the way.
Okay.
And ball drops, and the guns start firing. So I'm rapanoid. I'm like, get the hell up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But I can't get to the wheel because this is where the niggas is shooting at. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
I'm saying, I had you know where we from.
Yeah.
Did you hit the ground, fam? Did you hit the dirt?
Man, listen. Man, rapanoid, yo.
Yeah.
And I say dudes is shooting, they ain't just shooting guns, they letting them things go. And I'm like, never ever, Lord. I'm like, yo. Needless to say, when it stopped, I bounced. I'm like, yo, I'm the fuck out of here, man. But yeah, the South, New Year's Eve, when that ball dropped,
4th of July.
You're gonna hear a bunch of
4th of July too. That's how we get down like that down here too on 4th of July. They going heavy.
Indeed. So Lord, back to New Year's Eve. How did you bring in your New Year?
Yeah, I had to work, so I didn't get off till 10:30ish. And my wife is a frequent church member. I'm not too frequent of the church, but on New Year's, what I usually do just for her is I'll go to church with her to bring the New Year in.
Right.
The fact that I had to work till 10:30, almost threw a wrench in that, But I came home, quick shave, quick change, got to church about 11:27, which is enough time for me to ring in the New Year with the wife.
Good. Yeah.
Peace. I've definitely blocked many what they call it, something I forget what they call it, but I've been to church
midnight service.
Yeah, midnight service. I've been there plenty of times bringing in the New Year. But me myself, just like you, I had to work as well New Year's Eve. I got to the bill probably about 8ish. Y'all already know I'm boycotting CNN, so I didn't watch no Anderson.
Right. No.
None of that. You know what I mean? Man, by midnight I was asleep.
Yeah. Men of a certain age.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at you. I am not mad at you.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I was out. To piggyback off of that, man. What I was getting at was, I woke up the next morning. And when I woke up the next morning, I grabbed my horn and scroll my line to see what happened. And I started seeing all of this stuff about New Orleans. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, what I did was I watched Penn State give it to Boise State. By the time that game was over, I was under the bed. But yeah, that's what I did when I got off work. But I digress. You know, like I said, I got my horn, looking through my horn, man, and I see all this stuff about New Orleans, man, and I was like, damn, man, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? What was your thoughts when you finally when did you get the news about what had went down in New Orleans?
I got it when I popped up on my YouTube New Year's Day and saw what had happened, and because I was wondering why the Georgia game, because I was trying to figure out why the Georgia game wasn't the night before, and then once that happened, they canceled the Georgia game. So it was interesting to see the news on it, from all sides, how they're treating it. And I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I got it on YouTube when I woke up. So I kind of just, took a look at it and let the story develop.
No doubt. What about you, Lord? When was it that you finally, got tapped into what had went?
Madison texted me regarding it. I didn't even know anything about it because New Year's Day, well, actually New Year's Eve into New Year's Day after church, I went straight to Jim's, get that veggie hoagie. So after I ate that, I went into a deep coma. And then when I woke up, I looked at my phone, and Madison was explaining to me what happened in New Orleans. And she was there not too long ago. So she felt a certain kind of way, so we talked a little bit about it. But yeah, they scream terrorism, but they're not saying domestic in front of it, how the media covers things. So
right.
I don't know if we're going to get into how Trump tried to put a spin on it for his base and this, that, and third. But, everything shouldn't be politicized. People lost their lives, man. It's just a horrible situation.
So yeah, come across my TL, people screenshot, news. The first thing Fox News said, he came through the border.
It came from the border.
Yeah, and people believe that shit though. You know what I mean?
It came from the border.
Let's take a look at this sad situation real quick, man.
You ever been there?
No, I've never been to New Orleans.
I know exactly where he's at.
Wow.
Yeah. You see, right, man. She was, man. I mean, she just made it. I mean, like, just.
Wow. Definitely 5 inches. And he wasn't going, he was flying too.
He bent that corner.
Now this is what Fox is saying, right?
I mean, it's like to start the year off, they said 17 people lost their lives. We just saw the footage of, those people running for their lives, man. That's like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine being out there, GERD.
Right. And not able to get out of the way because you GERD.
Exactly. What's your thoughts going in that situation, UH?
I've been on Bourbon Street plenty of times, and literally, like, you think that Bourbon is a big wide. You probably think that Bourbon, if you've never been there, you probably think it's some kind of big wide street that a bunch of cars and shit go down. You know what I mean? It's literally it's a one-way, it's a one-lane street, and they generally have it barricaded off because they didn't want traffic going up and down. I've been there a few times when there was traffic going down Bourbon Street, but it's also been a time when like for the major festivals, they were cordoning it off. So, that's wicked, man, because the people really didn't stand a chance. Like literally the sidewalks. I want you guys. I really wish that you guys had an opportunity to go there. Have you been there?
I've been, and it's like I said, it's like a damn one-way street.
Yeah,
That's
it's man.
of it.
Yeah, it's not a lot of street there, man. So I feel sorry for that, man. It's it's but the thing about it is that we don't know what his intentions were. We don't know if this was an underground, and that's the way they're starting to paint it to kind of shape it, because they're talking about these people who had explosive devices, and they found all these explosive devices at his house. So I think that what the way that they're going to bend it is going to be some type of black nationalist group. You know what I mean? That's the way that I see it happen, because he supposedly gave these devices to people throughout the city, and they're going to be doing terrorist attacks in the future and so on and so forth. But it goes to show, man, that this country is wild and unpredictable at this point. You got Tesla's blowing up in front of Trump. That was a Trump supporter who actually did that. You know what I mean? You got a guy with 200. You got a guy with like 250 pipe bombs up in Virginia, and they let him skate. You know what I mean? But they want to paint the black man as with a Muslim name as a terrorist and as an immigrant, and he's not. He's an American. And I don't understand. I can't give a reason, and I don't justify what he did, taking the life of many people. But this is going to be a very, very dangerous time that we're going to deal with for the next 4 years, especially if 47 gets his way and eliminates the FBI.
Wow. Yeah.
Imagine that.
That's a real scary situation, just like you were saying, describing, Bourbon Street and all of New Orleans is like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's real tight. Like, it's a shame that those people were trying to bring in the new year, right? Or just go out and celebrate and have a good time, and then you got this fool in his truck running folks down. P, what's your thoughts on that, Lord?
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to family members of everyone who were injured and who passed away. My question is, what's up with these barriers, these barricades? What are they made of that someone can just actually, drive through it? You should be able to. Were they temporary barricades, or how does that work?
They got the ones that they got the
metal joints that come up.
The metal joints that come up, and what they did is they had the police cars parked. If you notice, he got 2 police cars parked in front of it. He went around the police cars.
Exactly. It was Ray Bones was right there, parked.
Yeah.
He bent around the joint and sped off
and mashed out. Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Again, just the spin on it, like I was saying earlier, saying that there was terrorism. Did someone say something about him having some type of symbolism of ISIS on his truck or something like that? I heard, or was that something that was actually evident, or was it just rumor? Or did you guys hear anything about that?
Yeah, I definitely have seen that online about that. He had a ISIS flag, but with the internet, you can be 100% on it, because they've showed video of it with the flag, and then they've showed the video of the flag being tied up. You know what I'm saying? So you got to unfortunately take it with a grain of salt. Our hearts go out and thoughts and prayers to the people who lost their lives and their families who dealing with that situation.
And I think the point should be made also that it wasn't someone from Mexico. It wasn't an illegal. And the percentage of crime that comes from undocumented people coming from other countries is like 0.001%. So for people to try to spin it and make it seem like it's somebody from Mexico and it's an immigration thing, you need to cut that shit out, man. Stop politicizing everything. This is a horrible situation. This is domestic terrorism. This guy is a United States citizen who actually served in the military. So treat it as such.
Exactly. And, as we continue on, please like, share, subscribe, download. That brings up the talk of Christopher Wray, the leader, the head of the FBI, who is now resigning due to the fact that, Trump is coming through. He validated everything that you just said. He said the biggest threat to America is domestic terrorism.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And of course, they hated that like a motherfucker when he said that. You know what I mean? And speaking of domestic terrorism, man, we got this damn fool Elon Musk, out here, as you brought up earlier, Don, about the Tesla being set on fire at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. I just got this little clip I want to share with y'all real quick about Tesla and what's going on with them. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Mr. Elon Musk. Here we go.
They are just piled with Cybertrucks. There's more around the corner too. And what's going on is a lot of people are like backing out of their Cybertruck deals. And Tesla is actually issuing out warnings to people that haven't picked up their Cybertruck, within by today, actually. I'm sorry. It's today is the 31st, whenever you're watching this. So December 31st of 2024. And Tesla issued out a bunch of warnings to people that if they didn't pick their trucks up and close out the deal, that they were going to lose a $2,500 deposit. And you can see that people are leaving these things here, and they're not going through with it because I believe the fear of losing so much money. These are tanking from a resale value standpoint. You're seeing them drop crazy prices. I've seen some deals when I was down at another Tesla dealer. I was talking to a guy, and he was saying that he's going to get one of these for about $71,000, and normally it was stickering for over $100. It's like sitting there working with a Tesla rep on making that deal, and I was just pretty blown away that they're willing to discount it, $30,000. And I wasn't expecting that, that's for sure. They're closing this dealership up, or this showroom up, here soon, and there's a lot of these, that's for sure. Put in the comments what you think about the Cybertruck. Would you buy one of these, or do you think it's just an absolute joke? I don't know. I go back and forth on it. It's a neat concept. I get it. You want to be futuristic, you want to set yourself apart and everything like that. I just felt like it might have been a little too much too soon. They have no other cars here. You can't buy a Model Y, you can't buy a Model 3, there's nothing. Everything is sold.
So yeah, man, Mr. Elon is, starting to realize, that his shit stink too.
Yeah.
As they say, what comes up must come down. He talking about the pain and everything that, the regular man may go through. Might be some truth in him feeling some pain in the years to come. What's your thoughts on that, UHer?
I don't, I've never been a fan of Elon Musk. I would never buy a Tesla, would never buy a Tesla product or anything that he invents. I downloaded X just so kind of get my news on last week, but I couldn't stand it for too long, just knowing that I had something. Like, they kept on showing me like his tweets, and I kept on blocking them, not interested in this topic, and they kept on putting them back into my mix, and I didn't like that. So I clearly don't support him in any way, shape, or form. I think those trucks are ugly, as you said they are. They do look like big ass protractors driving around, and I think I'm glad. I'm glad that people are not making a commitment to continue to feed this guy's massive amounts of wealth, because number one, the product is ugly. Number two, the brand behind it is terrible. And number three, he doesn't care about American workers. He's just fired with 17,000 people and hired 17,000 people with H-1B ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, they've been, and I guess we're going to get into this a little bit later, but they've been hoodwinked, man. Like, I've been saying for two episodes in a row, hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray. But, it's just going to be interesting to see how that balances out with us having irrational, out of touch leader in 47 and an oligarch per se.
Right.
What type of influence he's really going to have, and who made his money basically from the U.S. government. So we're gonna see how that's going to work out. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a financial protest. those who voted for Trump voted for Elon. And then when Elon stabs them in the back, with the H-1Bs by saying that we need these people, that's just letting Americans who voted for Trump and Elon, letting them know that, we needed you at a particular time for your vote, yes. But at this moment, we'd rather have H-1Bs who we can pay less to do the work. So thank you for supporting us, at this particular time. Thank you for being uneducated and voting for us. We're going to take away the Department of Education also. So the next time you need to vote, you'll be stupid enough to vote for us again. So it's like, you stab me in the back, okay, I'm not going to buy your vehicle. I'm not going to come pick up your vehicle. Who cares about the down payment? I don't think Elon understands that you can't stab Americans in the back. Eventually, it's going to come back on you. And like Les said, you thought it was going to hurt us or them who voted for that combo of Elon and Trump. But you're going to feel the effects also. You're not untouchable, bro.
It's a lot that's been going on since, the election with Trump winning the election. A lot of these people are finding out that, he's going after benefits and different things of that nature. They're looking to break up unions, to destroy the unions. Talk about 2025 and buyer's remorse, UH.
Yeah, voters' remorse is a very big thing. I see that coming because now they're starting to see that all the things he said to them straight to their face. I love the uneducated.
Yeah.
Look at my beautiful white skin. All these things that he made, that he put right in their face. Literally, Black people who supported Trump, Latinos. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of the undocumented. White people. Oh, we're gonna bring back coal. This dude said they're gonna bring back coal. You should have known he was a damn fool when he said that in 2016, 2015. So it's amazing that these people are going to feel the brunt of his policies. Obviously, we are going to suffer as well because we're American, we're integrated into American society. But these people are really going to suffer a lot. I don't think that they really realize that there are things that have already been in place that are put into law that are going to greatly affect them. While they were so worried about transgender volleyball players in Oregon, you know what I mean? People were Walmart was putting in policies that if you steal anything over $25, then we can lock you up. And they will lock you up. And they will take you to court and they will ruin your record. They will lock you up for a pair of matching PJs. Go 1 cent over. Go steal something at Walmart for $25.01, and you are going to jail. So I watched a bunch of people go to court against Walmart this week, right? This is what I kind of want to get into, and I'm gonna spin right back in and let you go to Rock D. But I watched a lot of people go to court this week and being sent to jail by Walmart. And the majority of the things they were stealing from Walmart?
No.
Food. They were stealing food, right? So if people at this level are stealing food already, they still get their benefits and there's still, a shadow, a pretty strong economy out there. Just imagine how it's going to be when they cut benefits, when they cut food stamps, when they cut Social Security, when they get rid of the SEC, when they just destroy the American institutions that keep our country level. You know what I mean? Keep people out the streets from rioting and acting crazy because that's what they want. So it's going to be interesting to see how these people are going to deal with the effects of what they wanted, because they wanted this. You want it, you got it. And we're going to see.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to deal with it, and they already are feeling the effects of it. They already wild. And there you go. Look at your man. He ripping off his Trump sign. After low-income voters hope he doesn't slash their benefits.
Sorry.
Voters in struggling Pennsylvania cities of Newcastle backed Donald Trump, hoping he'd curb inflation.
Yeah, right.
Like
Stupid.
for real, this man, snake oil salesman.
City
By
right.
trade.
Yeah.
Y'all really believe that he was going to do anything to benefit you? What in common? He has nothing in common with you, sir. Never. From the time he was brought into this world, he was privileged.
Yes, sir.
First he was white, and then he was wealthy. So he's never known what the common man has been through. And for y'all to be stupid enough to think that he can empathize with what you go through every day, you out of your damn mind. And you're gonna get everything that you deserve, and now you're gonna look stupid.
Right.
And then you're gonna believe him when we know what he's gonna say. Everything that's happening is because of Biden and Kamala.
They're terrible. They're terrible policies.
Exactly. We know what the playbook is gonna be. Is when shit get bad and shit get heavy, he's gonna go to his playbook of saying, "Don't look at me. Don't blame it on me. I know nothing." This is a Biden Harris policy. We already know how he's going to bounce it and flip it. But like you said, it's gonna hurt all of us because last time I checked, I'm not wealthy. You know what I mean? And those are the people that's gonna benefit the most,
right,
from Trump being in office. And that's the reason why I said last week is that going to be the new wave, and I'm not wishing it.
right.
Is that going to be the new wave? Is that the wealthy going to be the targets of what is it, vigilantism?
Yes.
Are those people going to be the ones? Because once it gets to the point that we really hurting, that people are really starving. Obviously, we was shorties when they were talking about how bad it was under Carter.
Right.
During the Carter administration. All I can really remember about that is going across the Peace Bridge and getting gas.
Yeah, that's right. With your peoples, yeah.
That's all I could, remember about that time when he was in the jump off. And then you fast forward to Reaganomics, and all he did was cut and slash.
Right.
You know what I mean? All I know is, Pops was out there at Bethlehem still. Reagan coming there, they closing down. Bethlehem still. I can remember UHP going to Upper Bound Lighted Schoolhouse. By the time, Reagan's second term, wasn't none of that. Wasn't no Upper Bound or Lighted Schoolhouse no more. The playground was open in the summertime. You had Mayor Summer Youth Jobs and all that type of stuff. All that is gone. You know what I mean? People forget how it was, but all we can do is this, man, is guard your grill, knuckle up, hope for the best and prepare for the worst, because ain't no telling what's coming down, man. Did y'all see to fast forward it onto these Trump policies that's going to be enacted in the next couple of years? Did you see the cops in Miami work Fred Kerley? Y'all know who Fred Kerley is, right?
No, who's Fred Kerley?
I know who Fred Kerley is. The Olympic sprinter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What happened?
Man, they beat his ass down in Miami for the new year. I'm about to give it to you. They worked Fred Kerley for the new year, fam.
The young boy?
Man, not the young cat. Fred Kerley, he ran the 100 in the 4x400. Man, we watched the Olympics on the pod.
Oh, yeah, we sure did. Yeah, we did.
Word.
Wow.
They worked him, fam. And man, he took it. Like, man, y'all niggas really ain't hitting hard enough.
Wow. I didn't even see that. And again, I haven't been watching news only locally. I've been watching news. I haven't watched any cable network news at all either. I stopped watching that a minute ago. Where'd you get this, fam? On the internet?
It's everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on my motherfucking TL. You know my TL is wild as hell.
And he got the stun. They put the stun gun on him too. Oh, boo!
Whoa.
Fucking cops, B.
Wow.
Oh, I've seen her before.
So yeah, man, I knew y'all knew
Yeah, by we saw
who the
face.
hell Fred Kerley
Mm-hmm.
is, man. They worked that boy. You know what I mean? Just and this is even before they try to implement this. What is it called? What's the law they trying to implement?
Total police immunity.
Community, yeah.
So exactly. So Panero, pull it over, and if you ain't saying yes sir and no sir, you know what I mean. I may pull yours out and work you because I feel like working you. And
Right.
even if you are complying and
Oh
talk
yeah.
and talking like you on the plantation to the cat, they still may work you because that's how they feel it.
Yeah. And they know they can get away with it. I think a lot of Trump supporters, this is what they really wanted. This is what they wanted to see. It's like they voted for Trump not for what he can do for them, but what he can do to other people. But what it looks like
Good point.
is 360 and on them. It's not the others. It's more of a class thing now. It's not a race thing. It's more of a we're rich and you're not. So now white Trump supporters are seeing is like, wait a minute, you rather bring in other people to do the jobs that we can do, and tell you that you're uneducated and you can't do the job. So we have to bring these people, which is not true. There's a lot of educated people here who can do the jobs of the H-1Bs that are coming in, but we require more, and they don't want to give it to us. They want to create these cities, fam, where it's just, working towns, fucking Amazon, Texas, where somebody owns everything you do to a point where it's a law that you got to go to church. How about that? Or we're going to lock you up. Or you got to do certain things in this particular town. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create robots. And MAGA doesn't like this. They got 2 immigrants telling Trump what to do. It's just the irony is just fucking ridiculous, man.
When you see that, you see the man, they just really just beat his ass, for trying to get an explanation for what's going on.
Yeah, what was the charge though? Well, why? Why did they do it?
It's like you asking too many questions. Don't question me, type shit.
That's that bullshit.
What's your thoughts, Lou?
My thing is like D said, and we said last week, it's definitely a classist thing. We have to understand that what makes it tougher on us is the fact that there's also the racial component. That's never going to go away. So that on top of these guys having free reign and the majority of us, not 99% of us not being even millionaires, it makes for a bad mix for Black people and Americans as a whole. And that's what we're talking about. These people were so anxious to get rid of a certain type of people or want to be in control of a certain type of people when they don't even realize how we are all economically, socially connected, civilly connected to each other. And it's definitely a failure of the American education system. I'm not a proponent of getting rid of the Department of Education, but I think that teachers' salaries reflect the type of quality and work that they put in. You know what I mean? If you're paying somebody $26,000 and they've got $100,000 in student loans, and they still have to live, you know what I mean? How is that going to inspire them, or how's that going to motivate them to go out and teach the youth? You know what I mean? So there needs to be a certain equity in education, and since we haven't had that, this is the result of it. You don't get quality teachers. You don't produce quality. You don't produce quality students. You produce teachers who are just baseline or standardizing people to get out. And there's no, like you say, there's no programs to support the youth anymore. So if they're not successful in school, if they're not being motivated, if they're not being nurtured, if they're not being shown something, then it's quick for them to go ahead and take a different route and end up on the streets. You know what I mean? So it's really a vicious cycle that's only going to get worse. And I think that a lot of the Trump supporters don't realize that this is going to affect them in greater numbers.
They're included. I don't know why.
Yeah, in greater numbers. It's going to be amazing.
So as we continue on this episode of The Soup, man, as we continue to cook it up and slice it up and dice it up and add on, I want to share this one interesting piece with you about a racist landlord real quick. Kind of let me give y'all this. And how many of those are out here?
Oh yeah, this cat right here. Yeah, I peeped the headline. I didn't really get the whole story.
Number of people who were abused, cruelty they had to endure.
A landlord of last resort, so he could take advantage of these individuals.
Been a federal prosecutor for 15 years. I have never seen a case like this, civil rights violations against.
Tonight, a controversial Peninsula landlord sits behind bars where he will spend the next.
Unique facet of this investigation from a hate crimes perspective. Number of people who were abused by Dave Merriman. Cruelty they had to endure.
A landlord of last resort, so he could take advantage of these individuals.
Been a federal prosecutor for 15 years. I have never seen a case like this, civil rights violations against, everyday people in Hampton Roads.
14 years ago, I was looking for another house to live in because I was in a slum house that was infested by termites.
When Uganda Sample Jones needed a new place to call home.
And Dave had a house around the corner from where we were.
She didn't look far. She found David Merriman, a landlord who owns 98 properties across Newport News and Hampton. But she couldn't expect choosing to live in a Merriman.
Yeah, Michael Vick too, right?
Be a regret she holds on to still.
He is someone who is manipulative. He likes to get over on people.
Where most landlords repair their properties when needed, Merriman often wouldn't.
We had a ceiling leak from our top floor to our bottom floor. He left it a gaping hole in our roof, in our ceiling for about a few months.
In many cases, these properties were condemned. In many cases, they didn't have the things anybody would expect to have in a house. Appliances, furnaces, air conditioning.
According to a 58-page federal indictment against Merriman, he repeatedly refused repairing his properties, leaving them with faulty air conditioning, plumbing problems, sewage inside the homes where people lived. One renter even fell through the floor of his house filled with rodents because it rotted away. The details still stand out for Ted Rose, a former special agent with the FBI Norfolk field office, who investigated the case.
One stands out to me in particular. This woman had to walk her children down the street to use the toilet because the house she was renting from Dave Merriman did not have a functioning toilet in it. Rodents and insects crawling across the floor.
Piggyback on what Ted said, as far as his business practices, he focused on vulnerable victims. Typically, it was minority females, single minority females with children.
Federal HUD investigator Robert Pladek adds that Merriman's targeted tenants were often those who are most vulnerable.
They really had no other choices. It was either move into a Merriman property or be homeless, essentially.
Wow.
This is the first case where we have had criminal charges brought against a landlord for knowingly not keeping the property up to safe and sanitary conditions. In order for a landlord to continue to participate in HUD and get HUD payments, they have to certify that the programs are held to a certain standard. And the facts here are so egregious.
But the federal investigation into David Merriman isn't only about what he did, but how he did it.
I think the uniqueness of this case, though, is the civil rights component of that.
Racist harassment.
Derogatory names, like, do you want me to say them?
Being a Merriman tenant often meant being the subject of physical threats and verbal abuse. Rooted in Merriman's verbal threats were racial slurs and racist intimidation.
He would initiate this process of racist harassment and intimidation until they either moved themselves out or he would evict them. And in some cases, he would actually sabotage the utilities on his own houses in order to get people out.
In the federal case against Merriman, victims range from Hampton Roads residents to the federal government. Beyond tenant intimidations was a scheme to illegally obtain federal dollars. Merriman pleaded guilty to charges of wire fraud, identity theft, and racial interference with housing and employment, allegedly forging signatures and his identity as tenants to illegally obtain COVID-19 rent relief from the Virginia Housing Development Authority.
Mr. Merriman took money away from other individuals that rightly deserved it, limited amount of funds in the rent relief program, and there was a very high demand. You know, the demand certainly outstripped the supply.
A pattern is a way to establish someone's specific intent to defraud. And so someone like David Merriman, who is repeatedly making false claims for rent relief benefits to the Virginia Housing Department, you can prove circumstantially his intent to defraud that government agency by his repeatedly doing it over and over. It's not a one-off mistake or something that he didn't see happening. It was a very meticulous, careful thing that's revealed through the pattern of how someone does it over and over again.
A federal judge sentenced Merriman to serve 17 years in prison. A bittersweet moment for his tenants who may be happy he'll serve time, but may still live in one of the houses he owns.
And we're still in his house. It's a lot of money to move. Like, you need a deposit, and you need the last month's rent.
But for now, investigators and his tenants feel relief knowing he's behind bars.
This is the first case where I was receiving phone calls and emails thanking our agency and our partnership for taking Merriman off the street.
It is unfortunate that there are so many examples criminally and civilly of misuse.
So this cat running he was running the other PPP scam. You know what I mean? He running the, people are out of work, so we can't pay our rent. So, here's the benefits. You know what I mean? Because y'all can't work. This dude, was 17 years enough? Or should he got more?
Man, throw the book at him, man. I mean, that's why he had a little snide grin on his face, because he knows that, number one, he's got a person who agrees with him coming into the White House. So who really knows what he's going to, what his reach is. Obviously, he's got a lot of money. We already discussed that pardons only cost $1 million in the Trump administration. At least they did last time. They may call it, maybe yesterday's price is not today's price, but we know that there's something that you can actually purchase, under a Trump administration. So, I think he should have got more time, man, because not only was he a racist, what he took the people, this dude used their social security numbers to get PPP benefits and to stuff his pockets. So he was getting 8 checks and he was getting the money for the abandoned apartments. Man, listen, man. Like I said, and look who caught him, the FBI. Look who these guys are trying to get rid of, the FBI. This is going to be a company of robbers, stealers, and robber barons if the FBI is dissolved, dog. And I had an FBI number before I ever did anything. Before I had a misdemeanor, I had an FBI number. That's the truth, right? So, but it's an integral part of our society that needs to be there. That gives justice for people who get fucked over by devils like that.
So was since he got fed time, so his 16 years and 6 months, was that enough, Lord? Or you think they should have hit him harder than that? They should have hit him with a dub.
Yeah, if it was one of us, we would have got smacked harder than that. They would have put us under the Fed joint, without a wake up. You know what I mean? It's just, I think that what Don said makes a lot of sense. He had that grin on his face because he knows there's a possibility he may be pardoned because he's a slumlord. Our president-elect is a slumlord. He can identify with that.
Right,
but
right.
My thing is, how the fuck was he getting away with this shit when I've owned properties before? You have to have, when HUD comes in, if someone's paying with like HUD money or getting subsidized, you have to have your shit right. They come and do inspections. Was nobody inspecting the holes in the walls and the fucking insects crawling all over the place? Like, how does this shit happen? Just the fact that he circumvented HUD, he should get more time for that. The fact that he treated people like they weren't human, I know it's us and they treat us that way, but god damn, this dude was a straight savage.
Yeah.
He talking about, yo, go get a fucking job, you black nigger. I mean, what's going on? It's just crazy, man. He need to be underneath the Fed joint, man.
Yeah.
I hope he locked up with some people that's relatives of the people that he treated the way he treated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Let's bring it full circle, because like I'm saying, as we were watching the interview, I was in the Newport News area, of VA.
Yeah.
Mike Vick, Allen Iverson, EJ Manuel, all those plenty of others. So I wanted to bring it full circle to Mike Vick getting the job at Norfolk State. How y'all feel about Mike Vick getting that job?
I love it. I love to see that these pro legends are coming back and getting to the HBCUs. You know what I mean? We need that. They need that presence, especially with the NIL money. They need to be able to circulate that and make our football programs better, because we obviously clearly have the best athletes. In the SEC, what my homeboy called it something else. It's like the slave something conference. I forgot what he called it. But conference like the SEC, the Big 10, Big 12 are eating ACC, are eating off of our talent. So by bringing high profile coaches, you can to agree to disagree with how Dion did it with where he was at. But, I think that the publicity is a good thing. These kids who don't make it to these higher power programs, at least they know they're getting some quality coaching from at a historically black college or university. So kudos to Mike Vick. And I think Deshaun Jackson got hired too. So yeah, let's keep it moving, man. Let's go, man. Let's go.
That's definitely, big ups. And as we continue on this episode of The Soup, on this first Sunday of the new year, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down low, and tell a friend to tell. As we piggyback off Mike Vick getting the job at Virginia State. Is it Virginia State?
Norfolk State.
Norfolk.
Oh, my bad. Norfolk State.
Ice cream went to Norfolk State.
I thought it was Virginia, West Virginia Union.
No, cream went to Norfolk State.
Okay. But as we continue on, man, we talk about the college football and different things of that nature. We got a big thing going on right now in college football, man, because we got two brothers finally in the year 2025. We got two brothers who may have a chance to play for the national championship in college football. We've had the black coaches in college basketball win the championship. Of course, we all know, and everybody besides Don, salute Coach John Thompson in Georgetown for being the first, and holding it down. Tell us why you mad, son.
He's a Tar Heel.
Yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is. You know who's the first man. You know the first coach to bring the black players into the ACC. Got to give it to young Dean. Got to give it to young Dean. You know what I'm saying? So Dean changed basketball, man. I listen. I'm not a John Thompson hater. And you knew me when it was going down when Michael Jackson and the boy Graham and Reggie
Graham,
the boy Reggie Wingate and all these boys. We was there. We used to watch it on Saturday afternoon. I think I was rolling with Syracuse back then, but I've always been a Carolina fan. Respected John Thompson, man. Respected John Thompson. He produced the greatest basketball player to come out of the Norfolk area with your boy AI. So, that's dope, man.
Yeah, man. But as we continue on, what I was getting at is we got Coach James Franklin from Penn State, and then we got Coach Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. Obviously, these are schools who are blue blood, quote unquote blue bloods, perennials. We grew up in the era of when Penn State and Notre Dame were those pillar schools. With your man. Going back to Kurt, the original Kurt Warner,
right.
Out of Penn State running the rock, you know what I mean? All the way up to your man, crazy ass LeVar Arrington, jumping over piles and knocking quarterbacks' helmets off to, Jerome Bettis at Notre Dame, to Notre Dame coming on every Saturday on NBC.
Rocket Ismail and them.
We grew up in the era where Notre Dame didn't have a TV contract, and then all of a sudden they was on NBC
every week.
You know what I'm saying? You got Tim Brown coming in your living room every Saturday afternoon sometime, and then they graduated to Rocket Ismail.
Right.
You know what I mean? And here it is, man. Those schools who had, the Lou Holtz of the world. You know what I mean? And then you had your
Coach P.
He had the high water joints with the black shoes on. You see his Nike socks with Joe Pa out there. Then he would have a snorkel on too when it got cold. You know what I mean? Shout out to Penn State, man. But here we are in 2025, and we've got two black men on the precipice of playing for a national championship in college football. What's your thoughts on that, UA?
Well, I'll never root for Notre Dame ever because obviously I'm a Hurricane and Georgia fan, so that's never going to happen. However, I do appreciate the fact that they got a young black brother out there working it out, and even though they had a misstep, was it Northern Illinois beat them or something crazy like that early in the year? I like the way they fought back. I like the way they play, but I'm not rooting for them. Penn State, I could see that. Saquon, you know what I mean? A lot of boys, like you say, LeVar Arrington, a lot of boys that came from Penn State, and we know Shane Conley, you know what I mean? Like we grew up watching them boys, so it's always good to see black men in charge of those programs who are historically great. I will say that I hate the fact that Ohio State is there. I just want Ohio State to lose. I don't care who wins. Like Ohio State, I don't want them to win anything ever in life. Like nothing. So I'm rooting to get the field against Ohio State. That's all I care about at this point, dog. I just don't want to see Ohio State win. I hate Ohio State. I hate them.
You still upset about Ohio State beating them cats with my man Mo Claret out there, man? You still upset about that? And no
Big 13.
We're not going to even discuss that $3,500. We're not going to discuss. We're not going to discuss Art Schlichter with his illegal gambling ass back in Ohio State. The boys are just dirty, man. They just dirty, man. We just can't. Just don't let them ever win nothing, man. Don't let them boys win nothing.
So we let UA go on this little rant, but back to the brothers here, man. Give me your thoughts on this, Panero.
Yeah, well, I love it because there was a time where you could be like a player, say like a Walter Payton, that you couldn't even go to a PWI. I mean, he had to go to a small school, a small black school, just to play football. They didn't even want you. There was a time where they wouldn't even if you did go to a PWI, they wouldn't even let you score a touchdown. They would let you run the ball up to a point, and then give the white running back the ball for a touchdown. We've
The
come a long
bruising
way.
fullback.
Yeah, we've come a long way. And people have to understand the people who own these colleges and the general managers, they could see the intelligence in these black men and the fact that they can get them to the next level. Now, they're thinking, okay, well, I'm not thinking race. I'm thinking, how can I get my school to a point where I can get more students, I can get more money? I got to get the right person, not the right white person. I can do, if he's black, he's black. He's just, I got to have this person. And all of the people who root for these teams, traditionally, they have to fall in line. What, you gonna not be a fan now because the coach is black? No. You're gonna have to realize that these black men are capable and can do the job. So hopefully, you know, sports brings us all together. If anything doesn't, sports does. Maybe this will give us, you know, a set of precedent, you know, and like with Mike Vick coaching at Norfolk, and, you know, hopefully he'll stay. You know, I was on the other side of the Deion when everyone was saying, well, he needs to go. Well, maybe he shouldn't have went. And he could have gathered more black athletes to black schools. And then maybe we can be the dominant, you know, college in college football. But that's just me. I'm different. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think it's incredible that these guys are in the position they're in and they're showing improvement.
That's what's up. And you know what I thought about was I was hoping that they could ultimately play in the actual championship game, and that way we were guaranteed to have a brother win the national championship and be the first. I'm partial to Franklin because Franklin started his coaching career here at Vanderbilt.
Oh, okay. Andy
was where he got his first coaching job, was here in Vanderbilt at the SEC. And he brought Vanderbilt up, you know, where they was going to bowl games, you know what I mean?
Right.
Seasons and different things. And then, you know, Penn State pick up the horn and like, yo, we like what you're doing. Come on and holler at us. So I'm partial to Franklin on this. I call him Frank. You know, I'm partial to Frank on this because he came through here and I saw his work. You know?
Okay.
Either way, it will be all good, you know. But it's kind of like, you know, when Dungy met Lovey in the Super Bowl. You know,
gotta win. Somebody gotta win, right?
It was the first time a black coach had made it to the Super Bowl, and then ultimately it's two black coaches. So in that situation, we were going to win. However, you know what I mean. But yeah, man, before we wrap up this episode, man, I want to touch. Since we on this sports, I'm gonna touch with y'all, man, about the NBA as of late. You know, we are old heads. We are officially old heads. You know, we're men of a certain age. You know what I mean? We saw when you damn near had to have a mouthpiece and a helmet on to go game. You know, in the 80s. You know, we saw how the game has changed and has evolved. You know. And they've been talking about, you know, the ratings and the games itself, you know, and y'all know me. I love hoops. You know what I'm saying? But I don't find myself locking in like I would normally would, man, because to me, the game is not aesthetically as pleasing as it once was. You know, the 3-point, I'm not saying take the 3-point out. I'm not saying take the 3-point line out. I'm just like, you know, everybody don't need to shoot the three. Like the other night, man, when Princess Achua jacked the three, I was like,
I almost stopped watching the game. I was like,
it is going on, man. Everybody does not need to jack the three up, man. What's your thoughts on a reason why you think people might be turning the league a little bit right now, UH? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's because exactly what you said. You know what I mean? That's the Steph Curry effect. You know, 3 is more than 2, period. You know, so, and you've gotten it to the point where you don't want to get embarrassed by running a traditional NBA offense, which is, you know, outside in or inside out. You know, outside outside in. Now they're running because remember when we were growing up, the big man was the focus of the game. You know, you had to have a nice center. Then it kind of moved over to like the 3-guard, 2-guard slasher type dude. Now you got, you know, Kobe Bryant. You know, I mean, probably Kobe Bryant. Now you got Steph Curry, and he's inspired the next generation of players. I mean, you know, you still have the big men who are dominant like Joel Embiid, you know, Jokic, but their skill set is higher, and you still have the slashers like Anthony up in Minnesota. So, you know, but now with this added element of the 3, you know, you've got players who obviously are highly skilled, but it doesn't really it's not as exciting, I would say, as it used to be. The transition, you know, the balls in the transition, nice passes, the nice, you know, it's just the fluidity of the game isn't the way it used to be. It's kind of choppy. It's like, okay, everybody backs up to the 3 and waits, and then somebody, you know, goes inside and then they kick it out. You know, it's all the same, man. I think that's the evolution of the game, and I don't know what can be used to change it. I think we saw an All-Star game last year where they got 200 points in the game or something crazy like that. Both teams got 200 points, and that's just ridiculous, man. It's definitely different. I don't know what they can do to change it without changing the way the game has evolved. It's going to be interesting to see how they get the fans more involved in it, like and increase their audience like football, you know, like football has.
But you know what though, P, before I come to you, let me just say this. The jump shot or the 3-point shot is the easiest shot to take. Because it really don't take any effort to me. It's like it's not really taking effort to shoot that shot. You can shoot that shot at any time. You know, it really don't take no effort to get that off, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Whereas if you trying to get to the rack, you got to dribble, get by this person. You got to do everything there is to get to the rack, right? And what I'm saying is the jump shot, the 3-point shot, is the easiest shot to take.
That's a good point.
And it's like they're not shooting like Steph Curry. Yeah,
high percentage, right?
You might be shooting it like Steph Curry, but you ain't making it like Steph Curry.
Or even like Trae Young.
I mean, what's your thoughts on the game right now, Lord? And why is taking this dip in viewing?
I actually agree with both of you. I just have another take on it. I think it's an athleticism versus skill. When we were coming up, you had to know the basics. You had to have actual basketball skills along with your athleticism. Like Fro just said, just jacking up a 3 isn't skillful. So what you end up with is a guy that comes from overseas with skills and not athleticism being the MVP of the league. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Jokic.
Man, listen, he's hard to stop because he's skilled.
His skill
He
set
don't even look like a basketball player. He's huge. He's gangly. He's not athletic. He don't even feel like it sometimes. He don't even want to come back for certain things. He want to go ride horses. But he's so skilled. He can pass. He can shoot. It's not always about the 3, you know, and he's the MVP. So it's showing you that when we came up, we played together. 62, Delaware Park. Now it's individualized where kids are just, they're working out with themselves. They have a trainer. They only play AAU. You know, it's not a together thing. And the game has become individualized and ugly. It's ugly. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful to see the ball swung around or thrown in the post and watch a postman go with his shimmy. And he may not have the shot. He may have it. He'll swing it back out. You know, it's beautiful. But when you just coming down and you boogieing and you jacking the 3, it's to us as men of a certain age, it doesn't look good. And I frankly don't want to watch that. You know, go ahead, fam.
All right.
I was gonna say y'all forgot about the rec, but it's all good.
The rec too, yeah, no doubt.
It's like
Boys Club, Maston and Bailey Doe. Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
I was watching the game. It might have been the Suns. It might have been the Suns and the Lakers, man. And they went up and down the court maybe about 6 times, about 7 times up and down. just jacking threes.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, it's like the lane is wide the fuck open. You know, if you hit this dude like this and go to the rack,
you got it easy too.
2 points. But I mean, I'm telling you, UH, they went back and forth. Like one dude to come down, jack the three, bong, get the rebound, come down, jack the three, bong, get the rebound, and come back. And that's the reason why, you know, not to knock Westbrook or nothing like that, but there's no way in the world he would average those triple doubles in the 80s and the 90s because he couldn't get those rebounds.
Yeah, he couldn't get to that rack.
No.
He couldn't get to that rack.
You know what I mean? It's like those rebounds is bouncing way out and you running the rebounds down and getting them. You know, I love the game, man. And it's when you see the people on the break and they fan out to the 3-point.
Yeah, that's
that's terrible.
Yeah, it's ugly.
What happened to the 3-man weave?
Yeah, you cut out the hash mark to the hole.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And the lane is wide open. Y'all gonna run to the 3 and jack up a 3, and then we gonna have a long rebound and we going back the other way.
Yeah.
They just they have to do a better job of because we were watching the Knicks and Spurs on Christmas, and we were talking about Wemby, even though he had 40 that day.
Yeah, he had 26 at the half.
So it was like, but it was 2 points in the paint.
Right.
Dog, you 7'6", you getting 40 by shooting these crazy shots. If you was in the paint, you would have 70
easily. You know, what happened to the mid-range assassins? You remember Rip Hamilton? You know what I'm saying? What happened to the Andrew Tonys and that's what we love to watch. You know, you come
DeMar
down to
DeRozan.
somebody, you know what I mean? Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan and Shea Gilchrist is the only ones that I really see boys going with the heavy mid-range game is DeMar and Shea. Everybody else is jacking them up. Or, you know, the thing about basketball is that it's changed from, you know, like we said, a fluid offense. We like to see the ball pass and assist, things of that nature. It's changed from either it's a 3 or it's a dunk.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it is at this point. It's either a 3 or it's a dunk. And, you know, it's just not I don't think the game is beautiful anymore. It's still exciting, you know what I mean? It's still, you know, still fun to watch at times, but it can be, you know, mundane and over.
It's no longer the NBA is fantastic. It's
no fluidity. No.
Yeah, thanks.
No question. You know, I got your back. It's no longer that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more athleticism, it's more skill, but the game is not better.
Right.
The product is not better. I do agree with that.
You know, before we go ahead and wrap this up, man, on this episode, we look forward to playoff Sunday, next Sunday. What you got for the people before we wrap, UH?
Man, I just want to talk real quick about the things that we take for granted. I think a lot of times we take the fact that we're here, the fact that we, you know, we have the four walls, you know, food, clothes, and shelter. I think that a lot of times we take advantage of that. We just assume that's how things are supposed to be. Obviously, we work hard and we've got strong people around us to help us and support us. But we have to keep in mind that there are people out there who aren't blessed to be in a position that we are. And I'm not telling you I would never ask anybody to judge anybody. I always preach kindness. But it's important to understand the type of world that we live in, that there are people out here who don't have your best interests in hand. So it's important that we take the time to appreciate ourselves and appreciate the people who truly do care for us and shower them with love. And, you know, you can be kind to a stranger, but you don't want to be stupid. Just keep your head on the swivel. 2025, it's a lot of crazy people out here with different types of intentions, man. And I want to see everybody make it to, you know, men of a certain age in 2026 because it's real out here. It's real out here.
That's a fact. Panero, what you got to say, my boy?
Yes, sir. It's a new year. Happy New Year to everybody. I know a lot of people have their resolutions, and a lot of people are going on healing journeys. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you one thing. You could take a break from your healing journey to let a motherfucker know why you took that journey in the first place.
Let them know.
That's for men of a certain age. You know how I keep it. I put a little something short and sweet in the soup and stir it up, baby.
There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you for that good sustenance, man.
Yes, sir.
So, as always, man, it's the same old soup. We just reheating it. Until next time, stay safe.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Peace. Peace.